everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting the Sunsteala Wheelas. Yes, one of the new Gitmob chariots from the Gitmob Army Set that Games Workshop has very kindly sent me early to build up and paint with all of you, and that is exactly what we are doing today. So, without further ado, we're going to jump in and we're going to start painting it. It has been primed in grey Seer. And, well, a little bit of admin just before we get going. We're basically going to be doing this in 3 parts. We've got the wolves, the chariot, and then we've got the crew. So that's what we're going to be doing, in that order. So, we're going to jump in, and we're going to start with our first wolf. I'm going to do 2 different kind of recipe colours here. And we're going to use 2 colours to begin with. We're going to use Agrax Earthshade and Black Templar. I'm going to start on this wolf just here. So we're going to start by taking the Agrax Earthshade. I'm going to apply this over the top of our wolf, like this. We're just going to take it a section at a time, which is helpfully divided up for us by the leather. There we go. Turn it round. Get this Agrax Earthshade all over, like so. And then, once it's all on there, what we're going to do is apply this over the top of the head as well. So I guess that sort of counts as the same section. One thing to bear in mind here is that you want to make sure you just get behind the cheeks. Don't forget those. Same goes for the ears. There we go. Lovely. And then, once that Agrax Earthshade is all applied to that section, I'm going to wash the brush, and then we're going to grab some Black Templar, and we're going to apply this over the top. In like a little strip. Going down the middle, just like that. And if you need to, you can wash the brush and just go back to some Agrax Earthshade to just move that paint around, smooth out any transitions if it's a kind of a hard stop anywhere. Just like that sort of thing. Then we're just going to continue that across the rest of the wolf's body. So with that all done, it's still drying at the moment, but we're going to flip over to the other wolf, and we're going to again use 2 colours to do this. We're going to use Agrax Earthshade and Cygor Brown. So we're going to start once again with Agrax Earthshade, get it on there, go a section at a time, and then we're just going to blend in some Cygor Brown in a very similar fashion. So that's the Agrax Earthshade. Missed Just a little bit on the head there, but that's okay because we're going to take that Cygor Brown now. Like that. Wash the brush. Back to Agrax Earthshade. Then we just use this to blend it. And that sort of thing. So with that done on both of the wolves, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Blood Angels Red and we're going to apply this over the top of all of the wolves' tack and the reins. With all that Blood Angels Red applied, we're then going to take some Black Legion and we're going to apply this over the top of our claws of our wolves. Like so. What we're also going to do is we're going to use this on this kind of cushiony bit on both of our walls. So with that Black Legion all applied, we're now going to take some Reikland Fleshshade and we're going to apply this over the top of all the red. Just going to give it that slightly more leathery quality that we're after. So with that all done and fully dry, what we're going to do now is going to dry brush both the wolves and all of the red. And we're going to be using some Karak Stone to do exactly that. So with that Karak Stone dry brush all applied, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Black Legion. I'm going to apply this over the top of the eyes and the noses. And with that Black Legion all applied, we then want to take some Volupus Pink. I'm going to apply this over top of the teeth, gums, tongues, insides of the mouth. So with that all done, we're then going to take some Flesh Tearers Red, and we're going to apply this over the top of the little ponytails, the hair bubbles. Whilst we've got it open, we're also going to apply this over the top of this. Section on the chariot. Next up, because it does complete the wolf's section, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Wyldwood and we're going to apply this over the top of the wood here. Now you can apply this over the top of the entire beam all the way back at this point if you want to. But for the sake of completion of this section, we do just want to do this bit now. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. I'm going to use this to paint in basically all the remaining details in this section. So with all of that silver applied, we're then going to shade it using some Nuln Oil. With that all done, we're now going to take a small amount of Screaming Skull. I'm going to use this to pick out the teeth. But what we're also going to do is use this to add a little dot in the corners of each of the eyes. So with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Squig Orange. I'm going to use this to highlight the hair bubbles. And so with that done, we're now going to finish off this first section by taking some thinned down Ironbreaker. I'm going to use this to highlight all the silver. So with that all done, the front part is now finished. So it's time to move on to our next section, which is the chariot. So we're going to start with some Wyldwood. I'm going to use this over the top of the wood. Now this is going to include the rest of that support beam, the wheels, the chassis, it is not going to include the wicker of the actual basket of the chariot. So with all that Wyldwood applied, what we're then going to do is take some Snakebite Leather. I'm going to apply this over top of all of the woven stuff. So with all that Snakebite Leather applied, we're then going to take some Gore-Grunta Fur. I'm going to apply this over the top. So with that all done, we're now going to take some Black Legion and we're going to apply this over the top of all of the little kind of leather wraps and stuff on the chariot. All of the ties and things like that. What we're also going to do with the Black Legion is we're going to apply it over the top of the cushion on which the driver is sat, and we're also going to apply it over the top of the inside of the mouths. So with all that Black Legion applied, we're then going to take some Flesh Tearers Red. I'm going to apply this over the top of all of the kind of, well, over the top of the two faces on the front, and over the top of these bits at the back. Next up, we're going to take 4 colours. I'm going to do the flames up here. And we're going to use Iyanden Yellow, Gryph-Hound Orange, Blood Angels Red, and Black Templar. I'm going to use them all at the same time. So we're going to start with some Iyanden Yellow, and we're going to apply this over the top of the flame. Just like that sort of thing. Then, wait. Then we're going to wash the brush, put the camera in focus, and we're going to grab some Gryph-Hound Orange. And then what we're going to do is we're going to apply this sort of starting around there. I'm going to apply the Gryph-Hound Orange. Like that. Wash the brush. Grab some Blood Angels Red. And then around about here, I'm going to apply the Blood Angels Red. Like that. Wash the brush. Grab a little bit of Black Templar. A little bit more than that. That's too much. And then we're going to apply that over the tips of the flames, like that. Then we're going to wash the brush. Go back to Iyanden Yellow. I'm going to use this to basically just smooth out any transitions Next up, with that fire all done, we're going to take some skeleton horde and we're going to apply this over the top of these two little tusks down here. Got a lot of tusks. The Gitmob. A lot of foot rests. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. And we're going to apply this over pretty much all of our remaining details. The only place we're not going to be applying this over is the sun design on the wheels, and also over the top of the little kind of bit of decoration here on the spear. And with all that Iron Warriors applied, we then take some thinned down Retributor Armour. I'm going to apply this over the top of those remaining details. So with that all done, we're now going to shade, and we're going to take some Nuln Oil. I'm going to use this to shade all silver. And with all that Nuln Oil applied, we then take some Reikland Fleshshade. I'm going to apply this over top of all the gold. So with that all done, believe it or not, there's only two highlights to apply to the chariot. And the first of them is some thinned down Squig Orange. And we're going to use this to highlight all the red. And with all that Squig Orange applied, we then take some thinned down Ironbreaker. We use this to highlight all the silver and the gold. And I'm going to use this to pick out all the little rivets scattered around. So with that all done, the chariot is now finished. So time to work on the crew. So, the colour we're going to be using first for them is some Black Legion, and we're going to be applying this over their boots and their clothes. With all that Black Legion applied, we then take some Flesh Tearers Red, and we're going to apply this over top of the facing on the shield on the back here. Next up, we're going to take some Wyldwood. We're going to apply this over the top of the belts and straps. As well as the wood of the driver's whip. So with that all done, we're then going to take some skeleton Horde. I'm going to apply this over the top of the leg and arm bindings. So with that all done, we're then going to take some Gore-Grunta Fur. We're going to apply this over the top of the torso armours. Basically, the remaining clothing on the bodies. Next up, we're going to take some Blood Angel's Red and we're going to apply this over top of the whip, just like we did on the wolves' tack and reins. And then next up, we're going to take some Gutrippa Flesh and we're going to apply this over the top of all their skin. And with that all done, we're now going to apply our final base coat, which is going to be some thinned down Iron Warriors. We're going to apply this over top of all of the remaining details on our grots. So with that all done, it's time to add some shades, and well, the first of these is going to be some Biel-Tan Green, and we're going to apply this over the top of all the skin of our Gitz. And with that Biel-Tan Green all applied, we then take some Reikland Fleshshade. We're going to use this over the top of the Gore-Grunta Fur. And we're going to use it over the top of the red on the whip, because it's what we did earlier. And with that then done, we've just got one last shade to apply, which is going to be some Nuln Oil. We're going to apply this over the top of all the silver and over the top of the Flesh Tearer's red on the shield. So with that all done, the crew are now at what I would call a Warhipster battle ready. So what we're going to do now is finish them and subsequently the entire chariot. So the first colour we're going to use is some thinned down Evil Sunz Scarlet. We need a tiny little bit of this. So we're going to apply this over the top of our Git's eyes. Next up, we're going to take a tiny amount of Screaming Skull. I'm going to use this to pick out the teeth. Next up, we're going to take some thinned down Skarsnik Green. I'm going to use this to highlight the green. Next up, we're going to use some Karak Stone. I'm going to use this to highlight the whip. We could dry brush it, but it's a lot of effort to go through just for one detail. So with that now done, we're going to take some thinned down Dawnstone. I'm going to use this to highlight the black details. And so with that done, to finish off our Sunsteala Wheelas, I'm going to take some thinned down Ironbreaker. I'm going to use this to highlight all the silver. And so with the base complete in the same style as the rest of our Gitmob, you can check out the recipe at the Drogs de Sun Chomper video. Our Sunsteala Wheelas is now finished. I have since learned that they do come in units of 2, so we do have another one to paint, which I'm sure we will get around to at some point. But being able to do this like this, it just is pretty quick. If you keep it sort of modular and you take it step by step, you'll have them done in absolutely no time. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.